Welcome to Vlogmas, day 6. So last night, as you know, I picked up the stitches on the sleeves of my Barbie crop, completed the first sleeve, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take it up to bed with me and I'm going to see if I can complete the other side, and I did. So all I've got to do now is, the threads. Just tidy up that. So I'll show you that a bit later. I'm so happy with it. I've yet to try it on. So yeah, let's see. I think it's going to be absolutely fine, but I so enjoyed doing that. I really did. And as I said, next year I want to do her Christmas lights. That is so pretty too. And I found that she has a Christmas light sock pattern too. And I'm really thinking I'd like to do that first. So yeah, we'll see about that one. So let's get on to Advents. So I completed 5 yesterday. Look at this. This is Tiggy. Monkey. I'm surprised he isn't coming over because he's on the rocking chair at the moment. He's fast asleep. So here's 6, and where are we? There's, oh look! How cute is that? Okay, so let's do this. Whoop. Do it in there. There we are. So do that later. So let's do Bird Street. Number 6. I've just put the hand cream on so my fingers are slippery. There. Oh, what's the 2 row counter? How nice is that? Oh, that surprised me. Hold on. What a cute little bag. Okay, let's get this out. Oh, it's wrapped. Knit Pro. Ooh. I've got some Knit Pro knitting needles. Some pretty tissue as well. This is hard to do. Oh, we're there. Oh, look at that. I haven't got one. I have not got a counter. I normally just, jot it down on the pattern. Ooh, I've gone up market. Sue's got a stitch counter. Or row counter. Oh, I love that. Oh. So let's put that in there. Okay, so let's get on to Fig's basket. Right, okay, Stitched by Mrs. D, Advent. So number 6. And I must remember to check out for the little piece of paper. Let's put it down there now. I'm going to stop here to do the knot. That was a double knot. Right, okay, let's do this. What have we got to... Oh, let's read it. Oh, it's a long one. Hold on, guys. It's very chilly outside, so please tie Teddy's scarf around his neck. Granny made this for him last Christmas. Oh, let's have a look. I love the colours. Fig! Oh, Granny made you this last year. Oh, I like the colours. Oh, right, let's put this on Fig. Oh, doesn't he look so nice and cosy and warm? Fig. And it goes with your jumper. Do you like it, Fig? So do I. Very lovely. Oh, I love it. Fig, you're all nice and warm now. So cute. Absolutely adorable. Oh, there we go. Lovely. So, the Peter Rabbit. Look at this. Let's open day... Oh, sorry, guys. What am I like? Let's open day 6. Ooh, we've got a tree. Yes. Oh, it's coming off of me. Look at that. That is adorable, isn't it? Okay, who's going to go round the tree? Let's have a look. Okay, so I've brought the others around again. So there's the tree. And Squirrel Nutkin's eyeing up that tree. Is he going to go in there? But there. Lovely. Hello again. So we'll do the Cadbury one later, before I read the book. Thank you so much for those who would love it for me to read it. And I'm going to enjoy it too. I really am. So this is the book. I'm going to have a little look later. Let's see. The Christmas Mouse or No Holly for Miss Quinn. So I'll check out how many chapters there are in each one, and go from there, which one I'm going to start reading to you all today. Anything else? I think that's it for now. I haven't got Winnie today at the end now. So I probably won't see her now till the weekend when we go to Frost Garden Centre. And the other thing I'm not sure, I don't know if you saw it on the table. Oops. Beth bought me this early this year. It's from a charity shop, but look at that. Obviously, because I love Christmas Carol. And the illustrations inside are beautiful, really beautiful. But I love it. So, yeah, that's on my table at the moment. But eventually I'm going to have to move some things because of the jigsaw. So, I will see you a bit later. Bye. Hello. So, I've done the ends. And here it is. I mean, I'm happy with the length because I wear it under my... I will wear it under my dungarees or over a dress. So I'm really happy with the length. But look, it's perfect. I love that. Perfect round the neck. And this was the 4th size that I did. So highly recommend the pattern. I really do. And as I said, I'm not putting anything in the description boxes through Vlogmas, but I will put the pattern down for you because, yeah, I love it. And let me show you what yarn I had left over. Turn this way. I should have really closed the curtains, but oh, where is it? I had those. I'm going to weigh these and a whole skein. So by the looks of it, because I bought 3 skeins, it's only took 1, and obviously whatever minis I put in there. So I am so happy with this. I really am. And it's lovely. Really lovely. So there we go. Hello. So it's evening. It's 25 to 7. I've just had a nice cup of tea. I've just made another one. And Tunnock's tea cake. Who loves Tunnock's tea cakes? Me. It's just so nice. Right, let's do the Cadbury Advent first. I've got a hot water bottle. I've had a shower, got my jimmies on. I'm happy. So, oh, let's see. Right, where are you? Number 6. It's up there. Okay. Oh, okay. Ooh. Jump. Yummy. Okay, I must make sure I put that back up because of Wally. Oh, yeah, he's watching, he knows. Wally over there. So the other doll quilt, which was my first doll quilt, this lovely fabric was sent to me by Sue B in Tasmania. Hi Sue, hope you're okay. Beautiful fabric, really beautiful. So I very carefully this time trimmed the wadding to the edge. Measured 5, where are we? No, 1.5 inches. And this is folded over ready. So I'm not sure if I'll do some of this this evening or tomorrow because I finished my jumper. We'll see. And some of the things I've been doing this afternoon is Gracie. At the beginning, I think for a beginner, they might find it a little bit difficult. I had to read it and reread it, and as you know, I've done quite a few of the cool crafting dolls, but I sussed it out. So at the moment, it doesn't look very much of anything, but this is the front of the face. So the eyes. Oh, got hair. Sorry. Will be going in there. So I think once I've done the proper lot of the features, then you'll see her more better. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I mean, say Beth bought this for me when we were at the yarn festival. But I love doing these. I really do. And you know, I was buying those different book version boxes, and the last one out was Dickensian, and I didn't buy it because how much the last ones were, and I had to buy things to help make the item, and I thought it'd be all in the box. But this year, the Dickensian, it's the Calcini mice, and they are just beautiful. The frocks, the shawls, and the male mice got a little cap on, waistcoats. Honestly, absolutely stunning, and I'm really sad now that I didn't go for it. Never mind. They're releasing them next year, maybe in January, so you can purchase the pattern or the kit. So I might ask for some money towards it for when my birthday comes up to get it, because it's just beautiful. Anywho, so let's put that there, and I make sure I don't lose the eyes. So let's go on to the reading. Right. So this is where I've been reading in, and this was in one of my cool crafting boxes. So cute, really cute. Right, so I've decided no holly for Miss Queen. I'll show you the front again. I might have to stop for a drink. I'm not going to do any voices because when I was a teaching assistant, and sometimes I'd read the books to the children, and then I'd get into one character and then it'd be on to, and then I'd forget and say, yeah. So I'll just read it if that's okay. So, no holly for Miss Queen. Chapter 1. If you take the road from the downland village of Fairacre to Beech Green, you will notice 3 things. First, it is extremely pretty, with flower-studded banks or wide grass verges, clumps of trees, and a goodly amount of hawthorn hedging. Second, it runs steadily downhill, which is not surprising as the valley of the River Cax lies about 6 miles southward. Third, loops and curls upon itself in the most snake-like manner, so that if you're driving, it is necessary to negotiate the bends prudently, in 3rd gear and with all senses alert. Because of the nature of the road, then a certain attractive house set back behind a high holly hedge escapes the attention of the passer-by. Holly Lodge began modestly enough as a small cottage belonging to a farming family at Beech Green. No one knows the name of the builder, but it would have been some local man who used the materials to hand, the flint from the earth, the oak from the woods, and the straw from the harvest fields, to fashion walls, beams, and thatched roof. When the work was done, he chipped the date 1773 on the kin beam, collected his dues, and went to the next job. It is interesting to note that the first occupant of the cottage, when preparing for Christmas in that year, would be unaware of the exciting events happening on the other side of the Atlantic, which would have had such influence upon the lives of his children and those who would follow them as tenants of the farmer. The Boston Tea Party would mean nothing to him, as he brought in his Christmas logs for the hearth, but 170 years later, Americans would live under that thatched roof in time of war and be welcomed by the villagers of Fairacre. By that time, the modest 2 ups and 2 down cottage had been enlarged, so there were 3 bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs and a large kitchen below. The lean-to of its earliest days, which had housed the wash tub, the strings of onions, and the dry bunches of herbs for winter seasoning, had vanished. Despite wartime stringencies, the house was cared for and the garden trim, and the owner, John Phipps, serving with his regiment, longed for the day of his return. It never came. He was killed in Normandy landings on D-Day, and the house was sold. It changed hands several times, and partly because of this and partly because of its retired position, about a mile from the centre of Fairacre. Holly Lodge always seemed secret and aloof. The people who took it were always outsiders, retired worthies from Caxley in the main, with the grown-up families and a desire for a quiet life in a house small enough to be manageable without domestic help. The last couple to arrive, some 200 years after the builder had carved his date on the kin beam, were named Benson, Ambrose Benson was a retired bank manager from Caxley, and his wife Joan, once a school mistress, was a bustling 60-year-old. Their only son was up at Cambridge, their only daughter married with 3 children. Fairacre, as always, was interested to see the preparations being made before the couple moved in. The holly hedge unfortunately screened much activity, and the fact that Holly Lodge was some distance from the village itself dampened the usual ardour of the gossip hunters. Nevertheless, it was soon learned that an annex was being built at one end of the house, comprising a sitting room, bedroom, bathroom and a kitchen, which would be occupied by Mrs. Benson's elderly mother. Mr. Willett, caretaker of Fairacre School, sexton of St. Patrick's and a general handyman to the whole village, was the main source of such snippets of news about Holly Lodge as were available. The builder of the annex, although a Caxley man, was a distant cousin of Mrs. Willett's, and asked if her husband could give a hand laying a brick path round the new addition. It was a job after Mr. Willett's heart. He enjoyed hand-lining the old rosy bricks, matching them for colour, aligning them squarely, and making a lasting object of beauty and use. All his spare time in the month before the Bensons were due to take over, he spent in their garden at task, humming to himself as he worked. His happiness was marred only by his impatience with the dilatory and slapdash ways of the builders. To see them sitting on their haunches supping tea, said Mr. Willett to his friends, Mr. Lamb, the postmaster at Fairacre, fair makes my blood boil. And that fathead of a plumber has left the new bath standing in the middle of the lawn, so that there's a great yellow mark where the grass has been killed. Marvellous, innit? Agreed Mr. Lamb. Do you reckon they'll get in on time? Not those chaps are carrying on, snorted Mr. Willett. Be lucky to get in by Christmas, if you ask me. Mr. Willett's contribution to the amenities of Holly Lodge was finished before the end of August. The Bensons had hoped to be in residence by then, but as Mr. Willett had forecast, they had to await the departure of the plasterer, the painters and the plumber. At last, on a mercifully fine October day, the removal vans rolled up, and Fairacre had the pleasure of knowing that the newcomers had really arrived. Joan Benson was soon studied, discussed and finally approved by the village. She was a plump, bird-like little woman, quick in speech and movement, given to wear pastel colours and rather more jewellery than Fairacre was used to. Nevertheless, she was outstandingly friendly. She joined the Women's Institute and made a good impression by offering to help with the washing up, a task which the local gentry tended to ignore. Even Mrs. Pringle, the village archmona, had to admit that she settled in quite nice for a town woman, but could not resist adding that time alone would tell. Ambrose Benson was not much seen in the village, but it was observed that the garden at Holly Lodge was being put into good shape after the ravages of the builder's sojourn, that he seemed to be enjoying his retirement in the new home. Mr. Partridge, the vicar of Fairacre, had called upon his new parishioners and had high hopes of persuading Ambrose Benson to take part in the numerous village activities, which needed just such a person as a retired bank manager to see them. How had Fairacre managed to muddle along before the arrival? Ambrose began to wonder as he listened to the good vicar's account of the pressing needs of various committees, but naturally he kept this thought to himself. A charming fellow, Gerald Partridge told his wife. I'm sure he'll be a great asset to Fairacre. The third member of the household was rarely seen. Joan's mother was 87, smitten with arthritis, and had difficulty in getting about. But the villagers agreed that she did the most beautiful knitting despite her swollen fingers, and smiled very sweetly from the car when her daughter took her for a drive. When the Bensons' first Christmas at Holly Lodge arrived, it was generally agreed in Fairacre that the vicar might be right. Ambrose Benson, his wife and mother-in-law, could well prove to be an asset to the village. I'm going to have a drink. The winter was long and hard. It was not surprising that little was seen out of the newcomers. Holly Lodge, snug behind the high hedge which gave its name, seemed to be in a state of hibernation. Joan Benson was seen occasionally in the post office or village shop, but Ambrose, it seemed, tended to have bronchial trouble and did not venture far in icy weather. As for old Mrs. Penwood, her arthritis made it difficult to get from one room to the other, and she spent more and more time in the relative comfort of a warm bed. "I shall be extra glad to see the spring," admitted Joan to Mr. Lamb as she posted a parcel to her daughter. "My husband and mother are virtually housebound in this bitter weather. I long to get into the garden. I know they do too." "Won't be long now," comforted Mr. Lamb, looking at the bleak village street through the window. But Mr. Lamb was wrong. Bob Willett, weather prophet among his many other roles, was stern in his predictions. "We won't get no warmth till gone Easter," he told those who asked his opinion. "Then they'll be lucky. Might well be Whitsun before it picks up." "Ain't you a jobs comforter, eh?" chaffed one listener. But he secretly respected Bob Willett's forecasts. Too often he was right. On one of the darkest days of January, when a grey lowering sky gave the feeling of being in a tent, and fair acre folk were glad to draw the blinds at 4 o'clock against such an inhospitable world, news went round the village grapevine that poor Mr. Ambrose Benson had been taken by ambulance to Caxley Hospital. "Couldn't hardly draw breath," announced Mrs. Pringle, who had received the news via Minnie Pringle, her niece, who had had it from the milkman. "Choking his life out he was. I've always said that anything attacking the bronchioles is proper cruel. It was congested bronchioles that carried off my Uncle Albert, and him at only 52. The next day the Bensons' daughter arrived, and the following day their son. Gerald Partridge, the vicar, calling to offer sympathy and help, found the two ladies at Holly Lodge red-eyed but calm. "He's putting it up a marvellous fight, they tell me," said Joan Benson, "and he has always been very fit, apart from this chest weakness. We are full of hope. Is there anything I or my wife can do? Please call upon us," begged the vicar. "You are all very much in our thoughts, and we shall pray for your husband's recovery on Sunday morning." "You are so kind. We've been quite overwhelmed with sympathetic inquiries. Really, Fairacre is the friendliest place, particularly when trouble has struck." True to his word, Mr. Partridge and his congregation prayed earnestly for Ambrose's restoration to health. But even as they prayed, the sick man's life was ebbing, and by the time the good people emerged into St. Patrick's wintry churchyard, Ambrose Benson had drawn his last painful breath. This tragic blow, coming at the end of a long spell of anxiety, hit Joan cruelly. For years she and Ambrose had looked forward to his retirement. They had planned trips abroad, holidays in London, where they could satisfy their love for the theatre, and of course the shared joys of the new home and its garden. Now all was shattered. In a daze she dealt with the dismal arrangements for the funeral, thankful to have her son and daughter with her over the first dreadful week of widowhood. Luckily, Ambrose's affairs had been left in apple pie order, and was to be expected from a methodical bank manager, but it was plain that Joan would need to be careful with money in the years ahead. When her son and daughter departed after the funeral, Joan was thankful to have the company of her mother in the house. The old lady seemed frailer than ever, and Joan took to sleeping in the spare bed put in her mother's room. The annex had been planned on one floor, and during those nights when Joan lay awake, listening to the shallow breathing of her mother and the queer little whimpers which she sometimes made unconsciously as the arthritis troubled her dreams, she began to appreciate the charm of the new addition to Holly Lodge. Sometimes she wondered if she might let it and install her mother on the ground floor of the main house. Many a night was passed in planning rooms and arranging furniture, and this helped a little in mitigating the dreadful waves of grief which still engulfed her. It was during this sad time that Joan found several true friends in Fairacre. Mrs. Partridge and Mrs. Moore were particularly understanding, visiting frequently and taking it in turns to sit with Mrs. Penwood, so that Joan could have a brief shopping expedition in Caxley or visit to old friends in town. She was met with sympathy and kindness wherever she went in the village, and became more and more determined to remain at Holly Lodge, as she felt sure Ambrose would have wished her to. Spring was later in arriving, as Bob Willett had forecast. It was late in April that the very first really warm day came. "I shall sit it out," said Mrs. Penwood decidedly. "Put my chair in the shelter of the porch, Joan, and I will enjoy the fresh air after all these months of being a prisoner." "It's still quite chilly," said Joan. "Do you think it's wise?" "Of course it's wise," responded her mother. "It will do me more good than all the doctor's pills put together." With difficulty, Joan sheltered her mother in the sunshine. She was swathed in a warm cloak and had a mohair rug over her legs. But Joan was alarmed to find how cold her hands were when she took her some coffee. Mrs. Penwood brushed aside her daughter's protestations. "I'm so sorry. I haven't been so happy since Ambrose," she began, and hastily changed this to "for months. The air is wonderful, just what I needed." She insisted on having her light lunch outside, and Joan watched her struggling to hold a spoon with numb fingers. "Do come inside after lunch, Mother," she begged. "You've really had the best of the day, you know." But the old lady was adamant. In some ways, thought Joan, as she washed up, it was far simpler to cope with half a dozen children. At least they recognised authority, even if they do not always obey it. Old ladies, however, sweet-natured, did not see why they should take orders from those younger in themselves. I'll stop there. So we're on page 13. So I will put my bookmark in there. I hope you're enjoying it. If you're not, just let me know down there, and obviously I won't do it. You know, I'm just want to do this for you. But, you know, if you think that I'm not reading it and you're not enjoying it, just let me know and I can stop. It's absolutely fine. I won't be upset about it. So that's it for this evening. I've got a croaky voice now. I'm going to have to drink some more tea. So thank you for watching me. Thank you to, I've got some new subscribers. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. So I will see you in the morning. So for now, take care. Thank you for watching. Bye.